Hello, my name is Franz Fox, and I am a metaphysician, a galactic shaman, a trained remote viewer, an expert in all the psychic skills. Psychic skills doesn't include astrology and aromatherapy. Those are studies that are really good. And if you're psychic and you're an aromatherapist, well, extra information that helps the client. Um, I have a very wide lens on life, which, if you go deep enough into other dimensions, you find out that basically um, require that you widen your lens. When you bring back information that you weren't taught in school, you're either not a good psychic or what you were taught in school was limited. So a lot of the information that you hear here will be outside of the paradigm that you were probably raised in. And it creates an issue of trust. Well, but I never heard that before. No, you didn't. But how wide is your lens? How wide was the lens of the people that taught you in school, your parents, your culture, your religion, your political party, your family? If it's not wide enough, I could be saying things that are totally accurate, they should be all totally accurate, and you might not have ever heard of them before. But that's because your lens was very small, because that's the way we've lived in this part of the world, which has been a huge issue, especially for our children, because when you're born, it's all open. So today I was thinking about Revelations, which is, of course, destroying this country with everything that is coming out, and very quickly. And I realized that every time I have sketched that collective sketch that I do, the eyes are always emphasized. Sometimes I don't sketch at all, but by the end of the mantras and the healing session, the eyes look blue and big, and it's one eye rather than two or no eye. And it was just today that I realized that's what Revelations is about. Revelations is not about stuff that was hidden, behind a building, in a bank vault. It was about stuff that was always there, but you couldn't see it. And it was mainly because your third eye was very limited, which is one of the reasons why you should continue to follow me. Because one of my main goals is for your third eye to open up, for you to be able to see everything. And from that vantage point, you can make much better decisions, particularly since we are changing ages from the age of Pisces, turn the other cheek when you get slapped, to the age of Aquarius. You are a Superman. You have superpowers. You are a god. You are a master. Two different ages. But you need extra information in order to be able to make that transition kind of gracefully. And from what I'm seeing, society is not going to make that transition too gracefully. We are in a paradigm collapse due to the change of the ages from Pisces to Aquarius. And what does that look like? And I said it, and I'm going to say it again because a lot of people won't have seen all of my chats. Excuse me. Trump got convicted of 34 counts. According to basically every lawyer, including lawyers that can't stand him, they all said that the case was fraudulent, that it just won't hold up in a regular court of law. In other words, the legal system here is broken. And now we have the congressional hearings with Dr. C, and it turns out that things were done without absolutely any permission. They were done to manipulate the system again, not working. And then today there was something new about how was this particular prosecutor chosen? Was there any kind of congressional hearing? And okay, no. That's a problem. But since the Trump decision, I have felt this incredible release, and I said it here in the chat. The next day I was going to be late because I had to go pick some food and whatever. And I was like, okay, I'm going to be late. I need it. And then I went, what's my hurry? Basically, anything goes now. If they can do that in court and everybody knows that it's illegal and yet it's happening, it has nothing to do with whether you like Trump or not, then what is my problem that I must be there at 7 because that's when I'm supposed to be there? And it happened again today. It was just, I feel so free. And I've been a law-abiding citizen. I'm a sex trafficking victim. I've been a law-abiding citizen. I have a bank account. I owned homes. I don't now because every place I've moved, I've had neighbors that have been political and dangerous to me. I had a business that's 55 years old and it's still going. Somebody else runs it, but it had a really great foundation. I started it. I ran it for 30 years, owned it for 40. So I'm a respectable citizen, but I feel like anything goes. Something got cut, something got broken, and something got released. And because of my position as a sex trafficking victim, not having had protection from the law because it was the law and the people in charge of this country that did this and won't allow relief from this, and I'm not talking money at all. That would be nice. I'm just talking about being able to move freely. It's not a question of where's the justice. It's a question of anything goes. Why am I following every rule if the big guys aren't following any of them? But that was always happening, and it's now getting revealed because we're in Revelations. Our third eye is opening up. Stuff that was right in front of our faces. We could see. It was like there was this wall or space between us and the truth. When I started my therapy process in the 90s, because of my victimization, I needed a lot of therapy. I remember crying to a friend of mine and saying, and she was very nice and very solicitous. I remember saying, all of you guys have been, she's so nice, and you're not even sure you believe me. And I know that. I said, what I'm going through, you guys are all going to go through in the future. That's now. The whole country is falling apart for exactly the same things that has been happening, in my case, since the 40s. Where's the news? Why is it news today? Revelations. Third eye. Widen the lens, which better include aliens. Don't be resisting the new stuff. It's not going to go away. Open up to it. Get all the information you can. Step back. Develop the intuition of your heart, which is called intelligence of the heart, which is not adding up things. It's just this psychic hit, which Plato and Aristotle said was the most important intelligence, and it is. No quotes, no references, just they said it, and you know it's true, and that is actually how things need to be. So we are in very, very interesting times, and due to my inability to stop thinking about things, I realized today, it's your third eye. Science found evidence of eye cells in the middle of the forehead. And they said, wow, maybe humans had third eyes before, a third eye. I don't know if they had a third eye or if it was, I have no idea. If it was just one, it doesn't matter. This is your third eye center. And from there, you can see everything past, present, and future. And we had a very famous psychologist, Carl Jung, who knew that and said it. And I'm sure he knew a lot more, but he was operating under a paradigm that was not collapsing. So he, I'm sure, had to monitor his words a lot because he had a university degree. He was a psychologist. He couldn't just say anything. He had to mold things so that it fit within the paradigm that granted him a degree and that covered him in terms of professionality. That's very restricting. So, where are we at today? A realization that you better work on your third eye because we are in Revelations, everything's coming out, and that third eye is going to make a huge difference for you, having to do with this whole galactic thing. We're becoming a galactic family. There's a galactic federation. What? Isn't that all bullshit? I don't think so. The ETs are certainly not. There's too many responsible people talking about them. Plus, it's in the Bible and it's on the walls of all the caves and in the hieroglyphics of the pyramids. So, back to the bottom line: collapse of a paradigm, collapse of civilization as we know it, and the third eye is what's going to save you. Because you're going to be able to see. You're going to be able to see where safety is. You're going to be able to sense when something is not right. And rather than saying, no, but okay, something's not right, but this has been forever and this will pass. We've had troubles before. No, your intuition's going to say, this is not like all the other times. And it doesn't really matter. This doesn't feel right. You need to trolley along out. So, developing your intuition really needs to be a primary focus for you. Today, I did a series of events having to do with cutting implants that are inserted in human beings. It's what the movie The Matrix was telling us about. That's why instinctively everybody liked that movie so much. Everybody got so hung up with that movie. And it was about something plugged in, and then everything changed. It turns out that we have many, many implants from different planets. I don't know from where else because I just discovered this about a month and a half ago. I'm still in shock. But today I went ahead and I did events in which the people would sign up and show up, do a mantra, while I would collectively cut out these implants. I think that you know that many years ago, and I'm going to repeat the story because it's like unbelievable. And yet I'm doing it today, and you can do it too. I went to a transpersonal psychology conference for a week, Saturday nights, the big meal, the big get together, 500 people, and the main speaker was a guru from India, and he said, I'm going to give everybody a healing. And I went, yeah, sure, we're 500 people. Close your eyes. I closed my eyes, but I'm anxious, so I opened them 2 minutes later. He had one of his spirit bodies, which is his astral body, which is your spirit body, standing next to every person in that banquet hall. 500 of his spirit bodies were in that room. He gave everybody a healing. And I looked at it and I trusted what I was seeing. I knew what I was seeing and I went, wow, I want to do that. And I'm doing it today. I've been doing it for like a year. With my followers, I can give 300 people a healing all at the same time. And I cannot tell you that all of them, but so many of them feel it and describe what they're feeling that we already know that it's happening. Are some people not available for it? Is some of my healing not getting to certain people? I'm sure. Some people are not available. They're shut down. We don't really know why some would, but the main thing is that almost all of them believe that they're going to get the healing and that they do get the healing and that there's a change. So today was the first day that I did it systematically in classes that you pay for. What was interesting was that I said the event is $10. You just sit there and do the mantra for what I'm doing, and I'm the one who does the work, and that's it. We don't talk about it. You don't discuss anything. If you want to send me an email, fine, but we're not doing it. What was fascinating is that I realized that the root chakra, which is in between your legs, which has to do with prosperity, had 4 implants. I went, wow, well, it's going to take me longer. So rather than $10, I charged $20. The solar plexus chakra has a lot more than 4 implants. We're talking about implants just like the cord, the umbilical cord that goes between the mother and the baby, that the doctor clamps and then cuts. That's what I do with the implants that you have. But you have a lot of them. So the mother feeds the baby through these cords, umbilical cord. And then you clamp it, and the baby and the mother are disconnected. But while they're connected, the baby is being infused by whatever is going through that umbilical cord to the baby, keeping it alive. You probably have 20 implants into you that you never knew you had. You didn't know you had one. Well, yeah, no, you had the umbilical cord, but you wouldn't consider that an implant. It's your connection to your mommy. We're connected to Orion. We're connected to Neptune. I haven't checked the other ones because it's a little bit scary. We didn't know this. I haven't heard of anybody ever discussing this as something that they saw and that was a problem, other than the movie Matrix. Science fiction, again, trying to tell us something that our belief system just instinctively knows this is really interesting, but does not really accept as real. I didn't think it was real. I didn't particularly like the movie that much. I found it very distressing and dark. Totally accurate. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the collapse of a paradigm. I'm talking about a collapse of all our belief systems. You are an individual and you are the way you are because of your inheritance, culture, your upbringing, your schooling, blah, blah, blah. You know what? You are also a result of all that sewage that's coming into you from different places. And I'm not talking about the transference of energy from your alcoholic father or from the aunt that raised you that was depressive, or the guy who sits next to you at work who's obviously a Looney Tune, but you have to sit there and that is getting transferred to you. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about an implant just like the umbilical cord. And you have many of them. Many of them. The best story I have about that I can't say because it's too obvious. But you need to know that things are not what they used to be. Things are never going to go back to that again. You need to be open. You don't have to accept everything I say. You're supposed to have your instinctive knowing really honed. You should have your intelligence of the heart to where you really respect it. You should have your third eye pretty open. You need all those sources of information. You don't need for me to tell you because you're not going to have them around. You need to be able to rely on yourself. If this whole system collapses, what are you going to do? With all the respect we had for science and authority, which is now totally trashed out the window, thank God, who are you going to respect? And I did a little thing about your grandmother. You should trust your grandmother more than you trust NASA. Kind of interesting now that they're saying that maybe we never did go to the moon. Maybe we didn't do all that stuff. Third eye. So we are now going to do the mantras directed at the third eye. This is what I sketched of the collective consciousness of this group. Depression, but not as bad as yesterday. I don't know what this is. I'm not going to worry about it. Right now, this is a spaceship. It's getting close to you, and you do not have the 4 pyramids of protection. Okay? But you're getting here every week, almost every time we come, without the protection because you're not emotionally doing well. We may be really happy about what's going on if we are like a Republican, if we support Trump and we never believed in the plague, but that doesn't make us happy. It just makes us to where we can say we were right, our instincts were right, but it doesn't make us happy. So we're not happy campers. You create. These are mind streams. They're in the original Lord's Prayer in Aramaic. They're called strings and they knot up. This is how you create your reality with these strings. They need to be happy campers so that you can create a happy camper type life, which you can even in the midst of a paradigm collapse. So we're going to do the mantra having to do with developing your third eye, because today I was like, Revelations is all about the third eye. It's not about the fact that a spaceship showed up and gave us a new set of encyclopedias with new information, or with information that we're living but we didn't really realize. That's not what's coming out. What was the pink elephant in the living room? We're now able to see it. It was always there. What was that all about? Third eye. Third eye is also about wisdom, superpowers. So let's go ahead and do the mantra for the third eye, which, by the way, I don't know if you remember, it has everything to do with being a master. And the mantra that the dolphins, my friends the dolphins, gave me for the third eye is, even though I'm afraid to be a master, I love and accept myself. That's the mantra for this energy center. Because with it comes a responsibility that you do not have in the paradigm where science is the authority. If everyone had really trusted what they felt, what appears to be the whole issue with the wool being pulled over our eyes having to do with this disease, couldn't have happened. Too many people have said, no, that's not right. That doesn't feel right. That logic is full of holes. They would have been able to stand firm in their belief system, but they couldn't because they don't trust instincts. We turned ourselves over to authorities who weren't using instincts. They had their plans, their agenda, their intentions, contrary to the ones they were telling us about, contrary to the ones that we elected them for and gave them money so that they would push forward the intentions that they said they would. And that, of course, all never happened. So, third eye, faith in what our system, our third eye, and our heart is the information it's delivering to us. And that, if there's catastrophic disasters, is going to be very critical. You are going to have to learn to tune in to your environment, to your instincts, to the person in the group who seems to be more instinctive. Like in my family, I think that my stepmother, in my memories, when something was going on, she would look at me to see what my reaction was. And I remember one time somebody showed up, they were going to fix the roof. And I said, I don't really like that person. She just looked at me and went, okay. She went to the guy and said, you know what? We're not going to do it. She learned, apparently, or felt that that the information I had was something that maybe they should pay attention to. If things get really critical, you're going to find yourself becoming aware of who seems to know information without reading about it, without authority telling them, and then you're going to start paying more attention to that person. My husband didn't really, my husband has passed, but we were divorced a long time ago. And so people asked him about me and my psychic abilities. And he said, I don't really know anything about that other than the fact that she knows what's coming down the pike before it's coming down the pike, which basically is saying that I was psychic. So you need to develop it, whether it's here with me by listening to my chats, with my power of induction automatically augmenting your third eye and other psychic skills. You need to figure it out, because Revelations is not going away. And we go, oh my God, I don't want to hear anything new. I don't want anything else revealed. You know what? We haven't even started with the galactic stuff. So there's the mantra. We're going to purify our fear of being a master. And mastery is in your third eye. This is where the superpowers are. They're not in the pineal gland. They're in a gland that hasn't been discovered yet. It's called the mimosa gland. Okay, and it was supposed to have been liberated, and we were supposed to have accessed our superpowers before, but the Galactic Federation, who are they? Let me just tell you what they decided. We were supposed to have access to our superpowers. That gland was supposed to have been discovered in the 60s. But in the 40s, we threw a bomb. I think 2 of them, wasn't it 2 of them? When we didn't really need to bomb Japan. The war was over. But we decided to experiment anyway. And the Galactic Federation apparently said, you know what? I don't think planet Earth is ready for superpowers. They just want to figure out if the bomb works or not. So it was delayed. Now it's totally available. Nobody even knows about it, knows how to handle it, but the kids are very much looking for it. You can see it in all their video games, etc. So, according to the dolphins that the Greeks considered masters, the mantra for opening up your third eye, for protecting your third eye, for developing your third eye is, even though I'm afraid to be a master, I love and accept myself. So go ahead and start to repeat that. You go ahead and expel the breath through your mouth. Do not mouth the words of the mantra, because then you get too tired. And let me get some nice music for music therapy, sound therapy, and image therapy. Let's go ahead here. And let's do 15 minutes. And I'll sketch you. And I suspect we're going to be able to get your third eye activated, because right here, not activated at all. I sketched you and you're better. The collective is better. You arrive like this. This is the collective mind map, the average of all of us that are here together. And this is where you got. So the third eye did open. The mind streams have eyes at the end of them. It's not the first time. I had a exchange with an ET when I was a child, and he told me you can even see out of your hand. Oh, okay, that's a spaceship. What is it throwing this way? River of Fire, where are the triangles? The protective triangles are not here. Why did we lose the protection? What's going on? Whatever it is, we need to figure it out. Because there's too many things that have the ability and the desire and the intention of attacking us, from physical people to off-planet galactic forces. Why didn't we get? Why did we open up the third eye, extend it, and yet we don't have the triangles of protection, the pyramids? So we'll be back tomorrow, and see if we can't. And I was going to say, why don't we do the mantra for depression? But these are not depressed mind streams. These are reaching mind streams. Good. Why don't we have the protection? Okay. Thank you for joining me. And we'll be here tomorrow night, probably at the right time, because I'm an old fuddy-duddy, and I will probably keep the schedule, even though, truthfully, law and order got thrown out the window. But, we can't really blame anybody. It's part of the process. Its paradigm is supposed to collapse for the new paradigm of community to come in. So we don't need to point fingers. But it